exciting new opportunities for the investment-minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. A dedicated NFT dashboard that evaluates NFT collections and assets by our machine learning algorithm to find the most profitable and secure NFTs across all available blockchains. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto today at tokenmetrics.com.
Ian, you're not audible. You're not audible. No, we can't hear you yet. No, we can't hear you. Can you refresh your tab?
All right, can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? Okay. Yeah, not sure what's going on. Everything was working fine. I do know, what is it? Melanap just got acquired, so maybe they're making some changes, breaking stuff. But anyway, we're back. Let's do this again. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Token Metrics family. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good week. Hope you're making money here in this crypto world, even though it's a bearish environment. There's always alpha out there. And in today's show, we're here to give you the low cap gems. Since that's the question everybody's always asking, what's the next hidden gem? What's the next 10x, next 100x? So you know what? We're going to do lots of analysis, and we'll share with you, not financial advice, of course, products we think are undervalued and our hidden gems and our low cap. All right. So with that being said, first on the stream, we have HP Supreme from NYC. What's up? Yes, definitely smash that like button. Hit that like button. Hey, Reverend. Hey, Joe. RP Cubed. Deepak, what's up? Queen. 0xETH in the house. HYNEX. Tendai. Carl. Jackson. King Panda. Yes, we definitely did do a check before the show, actually. So that's why I was kind of surprised the sound wasn't working. SCD. All right, simply better. All right, let's begin the show. Let me pull up my screen here and kick things off. All right, so I'm going to begin with a quick market update. Actually, prior to the market update, let me just share the Menti code. So if you have any questions you want to submit, this show is going to be about new Lowcap altcoin crypto gems. So if you have any questions, go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 46997020. That's 46997020. Submit your question, and we'll go through at the end of the AMA, and answer questions from the AMA around any Lowcap gems you guys want to cover. All right. Definitely make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, put on alerts, notifications, and follow us on social, on Twitter, everywhere, and also the podcast. Also, make sure to get the book if you have not, available on Amazon, Crypto Investing Guide. It's basically the entire knowledge and Bible on how we research and invest in crypto. Available on Amazon and Audible as an audiobook as well. All right. So if it's easier for you, just scan this QR code, and that will give you access as well to Menti. All right. So on the agenda, we'll go through. We've done the audience welcome. We'll go through, do coin of the week. We'll do question of the day, then top 5 coins for trading in the next week, and then take your questions from the AMA. All right. So let me actually just go do a quick market update. So right now, we're still in a bearish trend, bearish territory. This does not mean be completely out of the market. This just means risk off. You always want to be in the market because you never know when things can change. And there's always alpha out there. Just because it's a bearish environment does not mean you cannot make money. And not much has changed here. Things are still very, very bearish, basically almost in the strong sell zone. And less than 10% of the grades on token metrics are bullish. So definitely risk off. We're in deep Bitcoin season. But if we actually zoom in here, we'll notice that it's actually rising. All right? So in terms of the returns of Bitcoin versus altcoin season, we were basically flat for a while, for pretty much the last month or so, and now we're trending upwards. So this just tells me we've gone through a few weeks of meme, almost a month, but I'll say a few weeks of meme season. Altcoins, Pepe, all these alts have been making some money, even though it has been a risk-off bearish environment. And if you go down here, I mean, every sector is getting wrecked. I mean, the average grade for all these sectors is low. The highest is 32% average across derivatives, but even that's low, very, very low. All right, so going to the top performers, I see Function X from the Pundi X team is actually moving the most. Then we've got Injective, we've covered before, that we believe is undervalued. It is in our portfolio for Token Metrics Ventures. We got Cartesi as a downer. This is also in our portfolio, but pretty much, I mean, nothing to write home about, right? Just a quick market update. Not much has changed. It's still bearish. All right, but now let's actually segue and go to coin of the week. All right, so looking at all the trending coins out there this week, tell us what you think. Out of these 6 coins, which one are you most bullish on from now until next week? So the options are Solana, Singularity Net, Pepe again, Injective, Sui, and Kava. So I'm actually going to share what I shared with our customers, our premium customers in the webinar earlier this week. If you're a customer, it's via Zoom, where we go through for an hour, sometimes up to 2 hours, on different crypto assets. But what came about was Kava, in my opinion, is actually undervalued. This was from looking at Kava on Token Metrics. Anybody can just go and create a free account now. The basic line is free. So we noticed that Kava, up almost 6% today, it's been trending up. It's currently in a strong buy for trader grade. So trading it right now does make sense. But even in investor grade, I noticed that it's currently in a buy and it's going up. It's up about 5.5% in the last week or so on investor grade. So this got my attention. And honestly, I'm not looked too much into Kava. It was one of those projects kind of launched in a bear market a while back. But this got my attention. It's basically a Cosmos ecosystem play. And if we go to this website, I'm just going to give you a quick high-level overview. Basically, Kava Web3 blockchain for Cosmos with the developer power of Ethereum. It's basically an Ethereum EVM on Cosmos, right? Leading Web3 growth, 125 dApps on Kava. And if we go down here, right, EVM compatible. So it got me thinking, because last time it was a bearish environment, we talked about Canto being undervalued. Canto ended up doing a 7x in a bear market. This is why you always want to be in the sideline. I mean, in the market. Or you can be in cash or in stablecoins, but still be researching the market, because there's always alpha out there. There's always a bull market somewhere, if you can find it, if you do the research. So this got my attention. Okay, how does Kava compare to other Cosmos EVMs? And what I showed on the webinar, if you go to DeFi Llama, it's a site we like. And we go to DeFi, we go to chains. What's going on here? Why is DeFi Llama not loading? Okay, there we go. All right, so we come over here and we go to EVM. So for some reason on here, they don't have it as an EVM. But basically, the DeFi Llama is kind of slow today. Either that or my browser is having issues, but I don't think I should be having issues with my browser. Yeah, it's just taking a while to load. Okay, so let's look at the whole EVM marketplace. So we've got Ethereum, of course. Let's skip that. We've got Tron, BSC, Arbitrum. Arbitrum has over 300 protocols, over 300 dApps building on Arbitrum. Polygon has over 400. Here, this might be new. So they also have active users and they have TVL. Right? So we have ETH with almost 27 billion TVL. We've got Arbitrum with 2.4 billion, Polygon with under a billion, Optimism under 900 million, Avalanche 740 million basically, and Canto. Canto only has 15 protocols building on it, a TVL of 100 million. Now Canto is a fork of Evmos. Evmos is going to be somewhere, Evmos is really, really a dead project, essentially. When a fork can kind of fork your code and just do it a lot better. Where's Evmos? Yeah, Evmos right here. They have 16 protocols, and they have under 1.5 million TVL. Right, so 100 million versus 1.5. So Canto has over 60x the amount of TVL. And Canto forked Evmos. So Evmos is basically dead. Now, I believe Kava also initially forked or had some, or used some part of code for what's called Ethermint, which is basically EVM for Cosmos. And I know there was some kind of, I guess, debate of whether Kava didn't rightfully give credit to Ethermint. But let's compare Canto with Kava. Now, for some reason on here, Kava is not listed as EVM, even though on the site it says it's EVM compatible. But let's go look straight at Kava here. Go to Kava on DeFi Llama. Kava has 240 million TVL. So about 2.5 times the amount of TVL versus Canto. And then in terms of the protocols, so according to their site, Kava has 125 dApps building on Kava. And if let's see what DeFi Llama has actually. They have all these different dApps. So yeah, so on here they have about 101. Yeah, so basically over 100 projects. So Canto only has what, 16, 15? So we're looking at what, 100 by, so 6 times more projects on Kava and about 2.5 times more TVL. Now, if we go look at the actual valuation, so all the tokens are basically liquid. Is this right? But basically, it's about $500 million valuation for Kava versus Canto. Canto is under 200 million. So what I showed on the webinar is that actually the market, which this rarely happens, the market is actually pricing both accurately, in my opinion, right? So you basically have, because if we do 5 divided by, basically $500 million divided by 200 million, yeah, 2.5 times. So Kava has 2.5 times the valuation of Canto and also 2.5 times the TVL. However, they do have a lot more developers building on Kava, a lot more protocols. So both are adequately priced. So I think if you're looking to get into the Cosmos ecosystem, I think that does make sense. Because if we go back over here, let's actually go to, can I unselect this? Okay, I guess I cannot. Let's go back to this Cosmos. So yeah, looking at this, so I think if you're bullish on Cosmos, the two projects that jump out that are EVM compatible, if we're thinking from now till next market cycle or next bull run, and for those who didn't watch the last shows, we're basically projecting historically after every Bitcoin halving, you have about 15, 16 months of parabolic price action. So if we take that thesis, and Bitcoin halving is next year in April, give or take, that's the estimate, and we project out 16 months, we're basically looking at the top of the bull run being somewhat 2025. So if I go back to our market page, we're basically looking at, let me zoom out. If we're trying to project, okay, between now and Bitcoin halving, it's time to accumulate. And when it gets here, we're taking profits and basically we'll be in crypto, but we'll be cashing out and enjoying crypto retirement, essentially, crypto vacation. So if the target is summer 2025, now this is a moving target. It can change as the market changes, but that gives us, let's say, anywhere from July to September. Yeah, I would say actually, let's say like anywhere from June till August, September 2025. So summer 2025 is a time right now we're targeting for that to be the top. So if we're bullish on the Cosmos ecosystem, let me actually pull this up here. I'll tell you why we're bullish. Developer report. This is a report from Electric Capital. So yeah, is this it? Yeah, so this is what I shared in the webinar. So this is a report that shows the development activity of different protocols and ecosystems in crypto. And if we go and look at this by chain, by ecosystem, we see that Ethereum in the last 1 year has lost 3% of developers. Not much, is minimal, but Polkadot has lost 12%, while Cosmos has gained 10%. So that's a net difference of 22% that Cosmos has gained on Polkadot. Now, both of them have the same use case, basically. They're basically L0s, layer zeros, building interoperability, connecting blockchains to other blockchains, the Internet of Blockchain use case. But why is Polkadot losing developers? Because even though it has good tech, good tokenomics, what I've been hearing through the grapevines and just conferences, essentially, is that parachains are very tough for developers to fundraise and launch on Polkadot. It's basically very expensive. Then you have Cosmos ecosystem, where it's a lot more developer friendly. You don't have to be so rich, essentially, to launch your own chain on Cosmos versus Polkadot. So I think the whole parachain auction issue has added too much friction for developers to onboard onto Polkadot, and we're seeing this in the numbers. And if we go to the last 2 years even, Cosmos has grown 93% versus Polkadot 51% versus Ethereum. But I think this is a huge data point to factor in. So essentially what I'm saying is Cosmos is on the up and up. And you have Cosmos basically coming out with Atom 2.0, Cosmos 2.0, better tokenomics, adding more utility to Cosmos. So I expect Cosmos to blow up post Bitcoin halving. Right? So now, am I saying it's going to do 100x? Not necessarily, but I do expect Cosmos to do very well, to outperform the market. So when that happens, right? So I think Cosmos is a product that we're adding to our portfolio, but we also want to see how's the whole ecosystem going to happen. Because if developers are gravitating there, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, these numbers we're looking at are just purely at full-time devs, like people who've committed code 10 or more days out of the month, basically. And if you notice here, Bitcoin is down, Solana is down. If we actually sort this in the last 1 year, we can kind of see where developers are gravitating to. We've got Aztec, we've got Sui, a new blockchain, Aptos. So you have these new protocols taking market share, or not incrementally, although small market share. But my understanding is Move is a lot easier to develop with than other smart contract blockchains. So I would not be surprised if Sui and Aptos were also blockchains that did well next cycle, although tokenomics is not the best, but sometimes that does not matter. The irony, Evmos actually has developer activity here, even though it's down and there's no TVL on it. But if we go through all these other chains, we got StarkNet here, 83%. We got Radix. I know some people love that Radix. We've got Osmosis, but Optimism. I'm looking at the new big chains. We got ICP, and then we got Cosmos. Cosmos is the first large one, right, with over 500 that still has double-digit growth in full-time developers. So to me, I'm bullish on the Cosmos ecosystem. And if we're looking at how we can maximize that bullishness, or how we can parlay that into actually making money, looking at all these, I think you definitely have to have an EVM play in the Cosmos ecosystem. And Canto did well in this bearish environment. But now I would also add Kava to that list. And Kava, both of them are priced adequately, but I think Kava and Canto, in the next 2 years, basically, by summer 2025, I will not be surprised if these ended up doing well. Then a third project we like on the Cosmos ecosystem is Injective. Although it only has 3 protocols building on it and 26 million TVL, this was actually one of the projects on here, right? So if we're just purely trading these projects, what would I be looking at? All right, so for me personally, I think Kava is in a sweet spot. Solana, bullish on SOAP, we do have that in the long-term portfolio. Trading it now, that part I'm not so sure of. Sui has just kind of been trending recently as a new token that was launched. I believe it had some sales on Bybit and OKX and KuCoin. Then Coinbase just announced a listing for Sui. Pepe is a meme coin, we've covered that before. Singularity is trending again. I think it's one of the big movers today. But if I had to pick one, Kava, let me actually search all these other coins real quick. So we said, yeah, Sui is too new for us to have much data on. Yeah, so it's too new to have any trading data on. Investment-wise, it's also very, very, very new. If we go to Solana, bring up all these on tokenomics real quick. Yeah, I will not be touching Solana as a trade. Investment-wise, that's fine. Pepe as well, not much is going to be on there. What were the other tokens we were looking at? Singularity and Injective. Okay, so if we do Singularity, net, yeah, trading-wise as well, not really the time to be in it. And we said Injective. Yeah, so to me, Kava, I've kind of gone through the reasoning, right? So to do that again, real quick, trading-wise, it's doing good. But I'm saying this could be a project that can even convert into a long-term hold for the next 2 years till summer 2025. Just looking at this. Now, it is $500 million FDV, but I think it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. It's already up 26% in the last 2 weeks. So there's still some money to be made, but I think this is definitely worth putting on a watch list. All right, so let's see what people think. Anybody here bullish on Kava or Canto or some other project? Let's see what we have here. Thanks for the new pricing. Definitely. We're always here to help. So anybody out there, definitely, I encourage you, go create a free account now at tokenmetrics.com and try the platform. No excuses now, right? We're here trying to give you the alpha before things blow up in crypto. Make crypto great again. Definitely. Shout out from Addis Ababa. Oh, awesome. Ethiopia in the house. All right, can you calculate SUI valuations like you did for Aptos to see if there's Ponzi-nomics involved? There is. I mean, all these new projects always have Ponzi-nomics involved. All these large projects that raise a lot of money from VCs. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad project, but actually, yeah. So you have basically 500,000 tokens. I'm sorry, not 500 million circulating supply versus 10 billion. So you basically have what 95% of the tokens have to hit the market. That's additional sell pressure that you have to factor into your investment. So to me, right now, would I marry this? No. Trading this might make sense, but at that point, you're just looking at purely technical. So you're looking at the momentum. So SUI is one of those projects worth keeping an eye on. It could be, I would say SUI and Aptos could literally be the next Solana for next cycle. Kind of like how Sol launched, didn't have the best tokenomics. It was a VC project, ended up doing almost 1,000x. I think that was the return for VCs, but you could have bought Sol. If I pull it up here, Sol did over 200x return from buying on public markets. If we go back, all right, all-time high was 260 basically. And if I pull this up here, you could have bought it for basically, is this right? Under a penny? I don't think that, I'm not sure if that's right. I know it's under $1. If you bought it for 50 cents, let's say, and it went to 260. All right, some quick math here, real quick. This is on exchanges. So let me just do this real quick. I'm just rounding stuff up. So that was over 500x return on Solana. That is making a lot of money. That's turning $1,000 to $500,000 on a project on public markets on exchanges. So the alpha is out there. And the same thing can be done, but yet I believe you have to have a long-term perspective and say, okay, if we're targeting summer 2025, that's basically, we have 2 years. So you have to be patient. If you're looking to trade, that's fine. But if we're looking at what projects can do 100x or 500x, or even 1,000x, historically speaking, it's L1s or L2s like Polygon and others. Like even the ones for me last cycle, they were blockchains. Polygon was an L2, Helium was an L1. They now pivoted and now are building on Solana, but still, historically speaking, it's always L1s. So I think next 2 years, the big narratives will be L2s, so Arbitrum, Optimism. Then you've got L1s, SUI, Aptos. Then you just have layer zeros, right? So you have all these other blockchains. You got layer zero, you got Celestia, you got Cosmos. So the question is, which ones can do well? And I think the Cosmos ecosystem is one to keep an eye on. Now, whether it's Cosmos, whether it's going to be Kava or Canto, but there will be projects, like honestly, next 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if Canto does 100x from the all-time low price, right? Because this is crypto, things happen, and that part I will not be surprised. Let's actually look at Avalanche, because the big L1s last cycle were Avalanche and Solana. So if you look at Avalanche, all-time high was 144. Let's say 145. What's going? Yeah. So if you bought this on public exchanges, what was the lowest point and what was the return? So you could have bought this for basically like 350. Yeah, so let's do 350. So not quite Solana. So if we do 145, 350. So Atlas did a 40x. So the money was literally in Solana. But I'm saying next cycle, there'll be a Solana, there'll be an avalanche where you're getting anywhere from 40x to 500x returns. All right, so with that being said, let's see what people have voted here. All right, so coin of the week, people think it's going to be Solana. Very, very interesting. All right, so tell us what you think down below in the comments. Jamie says Solana doesn't seem to move much. It's a tricky one. It's cheap. Yeah, I think so as well. I'm still bullish on Sol. I think it can still do well in the next 2 years. I think it is very, very undervalued. Because somebody's asking about post-chain. Oh, wow, okay. We can definitely touch on that. If you guys like that, I can definitely speak to that. Maybe we can even get Richard Hart on the show. All right, so let's get to the question of the day. We'll actually change this up. Question of the day: which AstroDAO index do you plan to invest in, basically? So a quick update. We have launched 3 indices on AstroDAO. AstroDAO is our Ethereum protocol that lets anybody launch an index marketplace or index fund, basically. And we have 3 indices. Right now, because it's a bearish environment, these indices are all basically in stablecoins. These are fully automated, so you can passively invest in crypto. At least the ones, let's say Tokenmetrics indices, they're connected to our Tokenmetrics data API. So it's getting data from Tokenmetrics. So right now we have the Wrapped Ethereum index that's following the Wrapped Ethereum trading strategy. We've got the Wrapped Bitcoin trading strategy, and we launched this week the Polygon trading strategy. And all these have been launched by our fund. Our fund has put in capital to make it easier, so that way there's no minimum threshold to meet. Because to launch an index, the default is it has to have over 50K before anybody can invest in it. That way, it's easier to launch. So I wanted to launch these 3 indices, give people some options. And then the next thing we plan to do is to launch an Arbitrum. So our team is working on that. Stay tuned. We do know that gas fees have been very, very high on Ethereum in the last few weeks with all these meme coins and this frenzy. It's made it pretty much almost unbearable. So the plan right now is to launch indices on Arbitrum, and then 2, make AstroDAO multi-chain. So basically you come in here, you log in, and basically have the option to choose other chains. So the chains we plan to launch on in the future include Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon. So right now the order is going to be Arbitrum first, because that's where we think there's more activity. Because if we go to DeFi, where's this? And if we go to EVM chains, right? So Tron and Binance Smart Chain, those we're going to ignore because AstroDAO uses Uniswap and SushiSwap underneath for routing and rebalancing these indices. So we can only support those chains that they're on, right? And they're on Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon. There was an announcement for them to launch on Base. So it seems, I think there's a governance proposal for them to work on that. And Base could be a blockchain that does well, although there's no token, right? I think what they're planning to do is do the Binance model where they'll make money on sequencer fees. There's a lot, because Binance makes over $100 million annually just on fees with their chain. So I'm listing Coinbase, a publicly traded company, the first crypto IPO basically. They plan to make a lot of money just doing that. And I think once there's more clarity and regulation, they can then issue a token down the road. Because I mean, I feel like there's just too much money to pass up not doing a token. But anyway, that's kind of my thought on all of that. All right, but yeah, definitely tell us what indices you like. Right now, looks like Polygon, Matic is in the lead. People are definitely rolling with Matic, and I'm still bullish on Matic long term. Let's see here. Undervalued. Okay, all right. So let's now switch over to top 5 coins of the week. All right. So let's find some hidden gems using token metrics. All right. So we're going to go to the ratings page. Now the ratings part, anybody with a free account of basic plan can come here and view the ratings. But if you want to customize this, you do have to upgrade. So I want to customize this. So if we go to customize, what's going on here? Okay, all right. All right, so the filters I like to use. So let's begin with investing. All right, so we're gonna say investor grade 60% or higher. So basically, as soon as it hits that buy zone, 60 to 80% is a buy zone, 80 to 100% is strong buy. But sometimes by the time it's a strong buy, that ship has already sailed and the money has already been made. So since we're in a bearish environment, you want to give a lot more leeway, but it's still risk off, so you got to be cautious. But let's do that. Then let's add a volume filter. Don't want to be in anything illiquid, especially in times like this. So we'll say 10 million daily trading volume or more. And this is going to bring the list down to 108 tokens. Now, I do like to de-risk this by putting in Sortino ratio of 1, and let's do 1.5 or higher. So Sortino ratio basically is a metric that measures the risk to reward ratio of any crypto asset or any investment in general. Right? It's a term from finance that we're now adding to crypto, right? Here on the platform. So it tells you, is the potential return worth the risk you're taking on? All right, so we've done that. Now we're down to 37 tokens. All right, so coming here. So let's actually sort this by descending investor grade and see what we get. Sorry, just bear with me for a second. Okay, so looking at this, we've got all these different projects. But if we're looking for some Lowcap, let's actually sort by ascending FDV, because let's say we're trying to be more degen, but making sure it's worth the risk. Okay, so now looking at this, okay, so we've got some projects here. Let's just kind of go through this. Phoenix, no, measurable. Volt Inu, we've actually covered this before. If you're looking for meme coins, this is a low cap meme coin we're looking at. Okay, then we've got IDEX. I've covered this before. It's an exchange. It's an exchange worth looking at. I would say as a hidden gem, under 100 million FTV, definitely worth looking at. Fundamentals make sense. Then we've got, we've covered this, I think, in the last month or so. ARPA, it's a blockchain from Asia. I think kind of fits the whole Asian narrative. So whenever Asian coins are pumping, ARPA typically has been pumping as well. This is definitely worth keeping an eye on. Has good backers, backed by Binance and Coinbase. Then, so now the market cap gets, the FTV gets even higher. We've got Cartesi, this one we like. And then we've got Caspa. Caspa has been showing up here a lot. And I've always kind of been downplaying it. But I think now might be the time to really give it its its respect. All right, so trading it right now is not good. But if we go to investor grade, it's been in the buy for a while. Basically about 300 million valuation. And it's basically a proof of work coin. Right? So if we pull this up, and somebody shared news with me on the webinar this week that Bitmain launched mining equipment for Caspa. Did I say? Yeah. Let me just skip this. Caspa. Bitmain. Yeah, I'm seeing all these videos here. This is actually from Binance, but this is in Russian. I don't want Russian. Let's see here. Now I've not looked too much into Caspa, so this would be more of a. I'll still call this kind of a low cap, but also degen, but a safe degen, but not without risk. So for anybody who wants basically a blockchain proof of work, I did find this rather interesting. And the next thought process was, okay, if Bitmain, one of the biggest equipment manufacturers for mining, is launching one for Caspa, is that a big vote of confidence? So I asked myself, what other cryptocurrencies have they launched equipment for? So if we can just go to the website here, let's look at all their products. So they got Bitcoin, Litecoin miner, Ethereum Classic, Zcash. So let's go to more products. Yeah, so you see Caspa, but they've done one for Cardano, CKB, and HNS, which is Handshake. So let's actually pull those up here real quick. Balina. So all these are blockchains. So this is about 780 million FDV. Then we had Handshake, which was a project we covered last cycle, more than 2 years ago. Good tech, but just didn't really do well. Bad tokenomics, basically. FDV of under 40 million. So they do a good job of quality, but not necessarily every product they get does well, right? But I do think it's rather interesting that they did choose to do one for Caspa. So to me, that got my attention. So I think if you're looking for something low cap, that's an L1. Low cap, in this case, being 300 million FTV or so. That's that. Then we've got Fetch. We've covered this before. We like this. We do have this. It's an AI play. If you're bullish on AI, I think having some exposure to your portfolio makes sense. The AI products we like, Fetch and Ocean Protocol. Then we've got Injective. So all these are now getting higher and higher, right? If we wanted to even bump this up, because we still have a huge list of 37 tokens, we could bump this up to 70% and see what else we get here. Kind of the same thing. Sunum, I would ignore, very, very low cap. This has been around since what 2017, because I was trading this back in the day. It just hasn't really done well. All right, yeah. So that's kind of the list. Now, if we wanted to go even slightly more riskier, we can change this to 1 or higher. Okay, so now we have even more. So we got Tomo Chain, also an Asian blockchain. I think they're from Vietnam. We got Harmony. We've covered Harmony before in the past. Scylla Network, Anchor. Then we've got BitGet. This has already been popping up a lot as an exchange. It's a new exchange. We've got Phantom. We did accumulate some Phantom, but now we're getting into the large cap territory. So these are all the different hidden gems we're looking at. I know it was meant to be top 5 coins of the week, but I give you a long list. Now these are more so long-term if we're targeting summer 2025. If you're looking to just purely trade, we can also do that. Let me just reset all these filters here and do the same thing, but with trader grade. So we're going to reset this and say And trader grade 70% or higher. Let's see what that gives us. All right, so we're going to put a bullish trading signal down to 59 tokens. Going to filter for trading volume. Okay, down to 7. So then if we sort this by lowest FTV, so basically what has the most upside or the lowest cap, same list we kind of talked about. So we got ARPA again, and we got Kava. So then we got BitGet, Render, LDO, Tron, Litecoin. I know the Litecoin halving has been happening in the news recently, but these are basically the trades. Looking at this in the last 24 hours, do we have the last 7 days? Yeah, so Render is up almost 40% in the last week. Kava about almost 12%. Lido 21%. Let's see what has changed the most in trader grade. So not much change. But basically this is the list. So we gave you a list for trading and also a list for long term, with the target being somewhere 2025. Obviously not financial advice. But yeah, tell me what you think, guys. Let's check the comments here. Your take on Hivemapper again, please. Bullish on Hivemapper, but it's overvalued. I would not touch it on markets. I would just earn free tokens from driving around. If I put in Hivemapper. So it's one of those places where you just earn the tokens and you basically accumulate. FTV is 170 million. This needs to go under 50 million FTV for it to be really worth it, in my opinion. And that was the target valuation we had. So we just have to be patient. So I will not buy this on markets unless it's under 50 million FTV. Pulse chains, Pulse X. Okay, so I guess this was added to CoinGecko. It's up 27%. Not much data here, so can't really cover it too much. But it's basically, my understanding is, if we actually pull up their site here, Pulse chain. And this is Richard's project. It's basically a fork of Ethereum that's meant to be more efficient. But the way I view it is kind of like how we viewed Hex. So lots of people were calling Hex an outright scam. We said it wasn't a scam per se, but it wasn't a solid project in terms of our framework for fundamentals and technology. So we said we would not, or I would not, use my own capital to buy this on exchanges. However, an airdrop is an airdrop. Free money is free money. And we've never been one to turn down free money, right? So, and it did do well, right? For those that got the airdrop. So now with Pulse Chain, my understanding is anybody who has Ethereum, you can add this and then basically claim your airdrop. So all the tokens you had on Ethereum will be basically copied over onto Pulse Chain, and you can redeem those. I know some people basically are trading those immediately into Pulse X for liquidity. Is this going to be the next Hex? I don't know. Obviously, it's a centralized project, in our opinion. But airdrops are airdrops. So curious to know, what are people doing with Pulse and Hex? Let's see here. Okay, not much. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of that. All right, so let's move to the AMA. Other than Tokenmetrics, would you recommend any other Telegram chats for informative crypto content? Yeah, I mean, the chats I like for news, you've got Unfolded on Telegram. It's a pretty good no BS news channel or news alerts channel. I like ICO Analytics, ICO Drops. What else? There's the DeFi Prime, I believe, as well. Those are the main Telegram alert channels I use. Are there any new projects recently listed or upcoming you'd recommend to look out for with good fundamentals in tokenomics? Yeah. So, well, I would say we're biased, but venture-wise, our products, if you go to our site, we did update our site, which is ventures.tokenmetrics.com. Then click on portfolio. You can see our funds portfolio companies. So these are the ones we've invested in. They're all early stage. Most of them are under anywhere from 7 to 40 million valuation. That's kind of the zone. But one is actually launching next week. Nolus Chain. I've covered this before. It's a Cosmos DeFi lending project. We invested at a $20 million valuation. So that's going to be launching next week. At least, or rather, they're doing the token drop, but I think, yeah, so that's going to happen. I'll just kind of watch that and see how it is on markets. I'm not sure where it's going to be trading in terms of exchange listing and all that. But yeah, then these are the most recent investments that we've launched. We made some other investments this week and last week, and those will be posted here once everything's been updated here. But these, so to kind of walk you through the list, so we've got MetaMirror. It's basically a Web3 identity play. I can maybe pull up all these different sites here, give you guys a quick overview, because I don't think I've really done this. And let me know if you guys would like to have these projects come on to the channel for interviews. Thinking of bringing back the 100X show. As for that, you guys already know. So I'm going to go through all these and just kind of give you a quick overview. So this is MetaMirror. It's basically Web3 identity play. So yeah, so you guys can kind of check that out. They're building on Oasis Rose, but they'll also support Ethereum. Then we met them at ETH Denver. Then we've got Bandit. This is basically an NFT aggregator platform that lets you mint and manage NFTs across different chains. Teams based in India. Also met them at ETH Denver. Then we've got Wallchain. This is basically, it's an MEV protection protocol. Definitely worth keeping an eye on this one. They currently just announced that they graduated from Alliance DAO, which is kind of a well-known crypto accelerator. I think it was about 3 months, I believe. Then we've got Dolomite. This is basically a DEX, sorry, not a DEX, but a derivatives platform on Arbitrum. They just announced their public fundraise. Well, not public fundraise, but they announced their list of investors recently. And there you got Tokenmetrics. Then we've got Smooth. Oh, so they actually changed the website. Yeah, so basically go on to say Smooth is a high-performance module that enhances the TPS of Layer 2 and app changes by up to 5 times. Definitely check that out. Then we've got Airstack, Web3 data APIs for builders. They've also added AI to this. So basically using GPT to write natural language queries for on-chain data. So this is designed for developers. Then we've got Blockless. Blockless is a WASM-based verifiable serverless platform This is one of the projects that's kind of tough to explain to non-developers because it's a very developer technical project, but it's basically an infrastructure play. I would say if I could explain it in one word, because even myself, I also get confused sometimes or forget exactly what they do. But it's kind of like an SDK for Web3 developers, right, for infrastructure. They kind of give you all kinds of things you would need as a developer, from adding ZK to your apps to oracles and other stuff. But yeah, worth keeping an eye on this. Then we've got Nolus, the one I talked about that's launching, the world's first DeFi lease, on up to 3 times more assets than your equity. So it basically lets you borrow without having to over collateralize your assets. So very, very innovative. It was incubated in Nexo, and there we are, Tokenmatics Ventures. Then we've got Million, the secure processing layer of Web3. Very, very technical project. Definitely worth looking into, but very technical project for secure processing. Then we've got AirChains, simplifying blockchain, deploy in seconds. It basically lets anybody launch their own blockchain node, basically, or app chains. So if you want to, for example, launch a chain, right, deploy your own blockchain with ease using our highly tailored app chains. So whether it's an L1 and L2. So definitely worth checking. And we're also here on the list, Tokenmatics Ventures. Then if we got, so Polygon also invested. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so actually, yeah, that's, did I forget one? Let me go back. Yeah, Nibiru. I didn't cover that. Wasn't this? Yeah, so Nibiru, a DeFi hub ushering in the next era of money. So this is basically perpetual trading on Cosmos. And then this is the list of investors. We should also be on here. But yeah, these are all the different projects. Obviously, very, very early stage, which means very, very risky. But we're optimistic, but also biased. Let's see here. Crypto GPT, is it CPT or C GPT? Let's see. I mean, we've covered that before. It wasn't really, there wasn't much substance in the project, basically, at least tech-wise, right? So I feel like it was just writing the AI narrative, and I'll tell you why. Okay, it looks like they updated the website here. Okay, let's see here. Try the prototype. Okay. That's the best prototype to trade right now. Okay, it's thinking. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Then what can this answer? Okay, so it gives no trading or investing. Let's say, how about this? When is the next Bitcoin halving? Okay, so this is answering that. I think when I actually looked into it, there wasn't really a blockchain use case. It was answering blockchain questions, but I'm guessing it's just a staking play. So I think, looking at this, so the active pools. Yeah, I mean, I would just say be cautious. So for now, if you're trading, just use technicals. All right, so let's move back to the Minty deck. Yeah, so there you go. Those are new projects that we're keeping an eye on or have invested in. We saw Doge, Solana, and Matic into the top 10 coins by market cap in last cycle. What projects would you say have a good chance of entering the top 10 in the next cycle? Very good question. So what projects right now can be top 10 market cap next cycle? So let's actually go to CoinGecko. So if we're looking at this, so let's actually begin all the way at the bottom. Because Matic was actually on page 2. Let's actually begin there. Last cycle. Because it was what, $200 million FTV and went to 13 billion. Right? Let me actually go back. Because Matic is now 11th, right? So it goes back and forth. But basically, it's is it down a lot? Is it? So it's like about 9 billion FTV. So, and they used to be on page 2. So looking at page 2, if we begin here, what projects do we think have the possibility of doing all that? All right, so I'm just going to go through just based on gut feel of just the research I know, and then I'll also use tokenomics to show how we can do the same thing, but in a more data-driven approach. So looking at all this, Sequin is still trading, huh? Helium, not so sure. They would really have to hit it out of the park with Helium Mobile, but then they're kind of doing different. There's Helium Mobile token, then there's some other stuff. 0x protocol. Okay, so would Harmony be top 10? I doubt it. Now we are bullish on it. We do think it's undervalued as an EVM L1, but there's stuff that has to happen there. Anchor we're bullish on. We do have this in our portfolio. It's done pretty well. But top 10, that's tough, honestly, because it's not a top 10 is purely, in my opinion, typically reserved for L1s. So I would look at, okay, what L1s can blow up? So we got Anchor. We've got Blur. I mean, if NFTs really do well, maybe, but tokenomics could be better. Kusama, I don't think so, because it's not the main chain. You got Polkadot and Kusama. I don't see Kusama as a top 10. Polkadot, maybe. ALF0, A0. So this will be added to our list on the fund, public market wise. Tech checked out. I think it scored 89% code review. So we did accumulate this. So that's on the list. I kind of still here. Ordi. I mean, our Bitcoin NFT is going to do that well to be top 10? That's pushing it. That is pushing it. Audius, basically music. I don't think so. Chia is on our watch list. Tokenomics still have to improve. This is on our watch list. Oasis Rose, we like, but I don't see that as a top 10. Fetch.ai, that's more of a niche use case for AI. Caspa, we talk about this being a low cap. Top 10 though, I'm not so sure. Arweave, we do like Arweave as a long-term play. Good tokenomics, good technology. DYDX, Engine with gaming. I mean, it's a gaming metaverse play, but top 10, I don't see that. Singularity Net, it will right up with the whole narrative, but I'm not really seeing any of those be top 10. Let's go to page 1, beginning at the bottom. So we've got, let me close all of these. We got Caspa. Oh, Caspa is now top 100. Interesting. This is a proof of stake blockchain, but they need developers. I don't see this as top 10. We got Mina protocol. We do like, and we still have this in our portfolio. Like they would really have to blow this out of the park. But Kava, I covered before. GMX. Oh, honestly, I could see GMX being top 10. Because if we take the thesis that degen is going to degen, people are going to trade with leverage. We saw FTX come out of nowhere and just dominate the whole leverage trading market. And that was a centralized entity. And last cycle, we saw all these, from FTX to Voyager to BlockFi to Celsius. So not your keys, not your crypto. So I think people will learn that lesson again and look for these centralized ways to trade. And GMX is the market leader. And I would not be surprised if they end up being top 10. So that I think can be a candidate. Optimism, I could see Optimism being top 10. That's an L1. Injective, top 10, top 20. Injective, very bullish on Injective. But you also have that and Say network. And I think Say, which is about to launch soon, I think Say could be a top 20 project market cap wise or valuation wise. You've got Sui. I could see Sui being top 10, top 20. Radix is competitive with Say network and Injective, but I prefer Say and Injective over Radix. All three are great, but I see that doing more. I mean, as those as better. We've got Stacks, 1.2 billion. Is this going to be a top 10? I'm not sure. I mean, if Bitcoin smart contracts really take off, this is going to be the clear winner. I prefer this over Riff, Rootstock, RSK. Aave, Rocket Pool. Rocket Pool has been moving. Rocket Pool could be top 20. Top 10 is kind of pushing it. I can't believe EOS is still here. We got the Sandbox. Sandbox could be a top 10, top 20 project. Metaverse play. Phantom. Oh, we do like Phantom. We do think it's undervalued. But top 10, top 20? That I'm not sure. Altcoin. I could see Altcoin being top 10, top 20. With Metaverse, other side, other deeds, the whole ecosystem, this is the Metaverse play. Arbitrum, I could see Arbitrum being top 10 for sure. Near is good tech, but this hasn't really taken off. LD up, Lido down. Yeah, I could see this being top 10. Then we've got Toncoin, Telegrams. Needs better tokenomics. I don't see that. Cosmos, yep, I could see this being top 10 next cycle. Uniswap, possibly. Avalanche, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of that's the list. So, if we now try to do the same thing, if we go to ratings, it's basically the same thing I gave you guys, right? Let's just reset all this. So we will just say, let me go to customize. By the way, the centralization is necessary for the bullish tokenomics. Shui, as a tokenomics guy, you know that. You didn't invest in Hex because they didn't think the fundamentals was good, although it's had 100% flawless operation. Sadly, lost out of 10,000 X in Hex, and now it could be the same for Pulse Chain. Well, I mean, airdrop is an airdrop, right? So free money is free money. Right? I just think, because I mean, even FTX made money until it didn't, right? So that's kind of the perspective in crypto, right? Like even what was that policy? BitConnect made money till it didn't, right? So you have to kind of ask yourself, what's out there, right? Now, I'm saying me personally, I would not be buying, but I would be getting the airdrop. All right, so if we go to yeah, so we'll say 60%. And we're just going to add a liquidity filter. Now, if you're going to be doing Hex or Pulse Chain type projects, follow the same framework I've covered for investing or trading meme coins, basically. Never put more than 1% of your portfolio into them, right? So basically, if you want to take a flyer, 1% max of your portfolio. And just assume as soon as you put in that money, it's going to zero. So that way you don't get you don't get shocked or end up crying about it if it goes to zero, because crypto is risky. But then if it makes money, you take profits, but always keep a moon back. So maybe after every 5, 10x you sell, or even 3 to 5x, whatever framework you have, take profits, take out your initial, take profits all the way up, and then keep a moon back. Never sell everything. You do that, you can invest in anything, right? Whether it's Pepe, whether it's Hex, whether it's Pulse Chain. But the concern is lots of people never listen. I've heard people put in half of their portfolio or go out there and get a mortgage or refinance or borrow money to put into these meme coins. And you want to manage your risk. All right, so we've done that. Let's see. And we'll say 1, greater than 1. Then this gives us the list of products that could be in the top. All right, okay, so out of these, what do we think could be top 10? So let's sort by investor grade. All right, so we've got Cosmos, we've got LDL, we've got Phantom, we've got Ocean, IDEX, Volt, Inu. Yeah, so I like this list. We've got Stellar, Casper, Polygon, of course, Anchor, Katesi, Injective. So this is a pretty good list. I like this list as well. All right, so the question is, what products would you put in the top 10? Tell us what you think. All right, so let's see if we can pick some other questions here. Okay, we are running out of time. This I've kind of talked about. Well, say bullish on it. Sui, good tech as well. It scored, I think, like over 80. Are they must buys? Do you expect the price to drop off, or is now a good time to buy? I would never buy any new product as soon as it launches. VC Ponzonomics, you want to avoid that. That's how you lose money. So I would just wait for the hype to die down, and then as tokenomics get better, you accumulate. But buying as soon as something lists, you don't want to do that. Yeah, so I answered this with all these coins we've covered today in terms of Lowcaps. This one I've not heard of. Riot Chain, this we've been looking into. Tech Review actually scored well, I believe. We'll have this out on our research site for our customers soon, so stay tuned. But all right, I think let's wrap things up there. It's definitely been a long stream. Thank you, everybody. And as we like to say here, hey, stay safe out there. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Definitely go to tokenmetrics.com and create a free account and do everything here I was doing. Now, to customize the stuff, you do have to upgrade your account, but all the ratings, you can get that for free, whether trader or investor, and you can get access to all that and hopefully make a lot of money trading or investing in crypto. So until next time, the moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you.